Like, how do I delete the channels I don't need? So how's it going?
Okay, I guess.
You
Just,
guess.
been one of those weeks. What can I say? Just everything.
Yeah, I feel you. Yeah, you said you were having issues with the doggy,
Yeah,
and
poor pup.
you had the wake that you went to. It's just been a doozy for you.
Yeah. Things are looking up though.
You get a haircut?
Yes.
You look like you got a haircut. I was like, it looks nice.
Yes, I got it all cut back off like I like it.
I was like, it looks nice.
Thank
So
you.
I'll be mailing out your those earrings on tomorrow. I just have to print out the label tonight and then get it in the mail tomorrow.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, no worries. I get it. Um, I've been pretty busy today as well. I have some things I'll update you on regarding my ex later.
Okay.
uh yeah. Fun, fun. I'm actually gonna use that moon circle thing that I didn't get to practice this week because
I didn't either.
I've been pretty busy. So I'm gonna try that this week. Is I
Me
have some
too.
questions to ask and some directions to get. And I don't know who is trying to attack me, but like this freaking necklace has not wanted to stay on the chain at all. Like
Oh,
it keeps
goodness.
off. And it's starting to piss me off. I like tied it. I tied it on the little shit. And I was like, you're not coming off now. So it's just been frustrating me and like it keeps dropping on the ground. I'm like, I don't know who it is. And now that I look at it, there's a broken part on it. Hmm. So whoever is after me is trying really hard to get my defenses down, and I'm not sure who it is, but I'm not going to be a very nice person about it. Keep it up, you know. So yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty sleepy myself. I got a lot to deal with, and I have a really big decision to make on whether or not I want to agree or not agree. I'll give you the details on that later.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just I'm I'm inclined to disagree, but if I disagree, then I'm in for a fight.
You have to do what's best for you and your kids.
It's more about what's best for my kid, not so much what's best for the situation, but best for the child. And it's frustrating me, and I don't know what I'm afraid of. So yeah, it's one of those. But I know that the universe works everything out, but I'm kind of kicking myself for getting married in the first place. So I should have just walked away. Dummy me. It's whatever. But would have never married him. I'd have had land free and clear and all this other stuff. Yeah.
But you wouldn't have your sweet Kaya.
Kind of came before the marriage.
Oh, okay. Never mind then.
Yeah, kind of came in 2012 and we got married in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, the dumb choices I've made in my life.
We've all
Isn't it
done some of
great?
those.
God, if I could undo this one. Oh, I'm so frustrating, but it's okay. Hi, Terry.
Hi, Terry.
Well, look, they updated it now, and I can see everybody. Awesome. Super. So now I don't have to worry about this side participant because all you guys will pop up on the top. Thank you, Zoom. Noticed that earlier on my daughter's thing. I just didn't think it was going to translate. But it does.
Who did your drawings back behind you?
Those are Kaya's.
Those are awesome.
Yeah. She's quite the artist. She drew This Is Me right there on my broom.
That's what I thought.
She's quite entertaining. She's got some skills and talents, and they're growing little by little. But she takes inspiration from everywhere. Inspiration from everywhere, and then we register those as art class and stuff for school. So it's pretty good. Hi,
Why are you
Terry.
green? Hi.
Why am I
Why are
green?
you green?
I'm
In
green.
your picture. Yeah, the witch behind you is green.
Oh, like, I'm not green. I'm peach. I don't know. She drew me as a witch. I don't know. Maybe I don't think we have a peach marker.
That's
Hi,
okay.
Kathy.
You love green, so it's okay. Oh, shit.
Yeah, but I thought you were talking about me personally. I was like, wait, I'm pretty sure peach. And I, oh man. So how's it going, Cassie? I see your name. I don't see
Hey,
you.
yeah, I'm here. I'm trying to
Hi,
get everything
Cassie.
situated.
Oh, you're okay. You're okay. No worries. My daughter is under the table watching YouTube, so and then making noises. So that's the life of children.
Mm-hmm.
So I noticed that this journal is broken up by months. Did you guys notice that? I was like, well, shit, should I be skipping the months? I wonder if there's a reason for that.
It did seem like some of the journal entries kind of do go along with the time of year. Like some of the November ones were very much a like gratitude, which kind of seemed to tie in with like Thanksgiving. But I
Right.
don't know if the whole journal is like that.
Well, releasing for December and then freeing inner desires for October. So that would be literally what, like, for the harvest and stuff, getting rid of things, shedding things off.
Junie, don't.
December's definitely about releasing before the spring. August is that month where everything's fruiting. And February attracting abundance. I feel like we're like kind of messing the journal up just a little bit. So I'm not sure how to work the journal into the two books. Does anybody have any ideas how we can correct this?
No, and maybe we should start at the month that we're in.
That's a good idea.
And then,
so we're in December, starting at the end of the book.
All right.
I mean, I think it would make more sense because that will give us kind of a linear way to do it instead of skipping around each time.
Right, instead of going backwards, or mid-month December. So that's a good idea. I should have noticed that first, but I didn't. My apologies.
Didn't
I'll be right
notice
back.
it either.
No problem.
I didn't even notice it until you said something.
Yeah, I was like, wait a minute, it's December, and I was like,
You know,
So that's all right. And then it starts off on the new moon. This is identify an area for improvement. We are on mid moon, right? We're almost at a full moon, aren't we?
We're at waxing yesterday. I haven't checked it.
I think we're close to the full moon.
We are
Okay, so
waxing right now, 91%, it says.
right. So because we're almost there. So let's
Uh-huh.
work for this week. Let's kind of work on pages. Hold on. Let's work on pages 177, 178, 179, I guess to 181. Okay, but obviously wait till the full moon for 181 because obviously we're gonna hit the full moon before next week, aren't we?
I think so.
Isn't it this weekend or something?
Yeah, I think
I
so.
think
So
so.
so during the week, the rest of the week, kind of work on between 177 to 181 in the journal because that'll go over identifying areas for improvement. It'll help you work on things that you want to, and that's actually quite helpful for me since I'm having issues with monitoring my time. Hi. We're just talking about the journal and then we're correcting our screw ups.
Well, my sister's here too. Sorry we're late.
No, you're good. No worries. So we decided that we're gonna start in the journal because we realized that the journal was divided up into months and we were like, oops. So we're gonna move to December and work on December and then we'll go backwards. If that makes sense. So for what I was saying for the rest of this week until next Wednesday, work on page 177 through page 181 in the journal to kind of catch up on before the full moon. But wait until 181 or the full moon to do 181. And then there's going to be a couple of things for the full moon. But I don't know if you want to do those as well. What do you guys think? Because it goes to 183 for the full moon, and then it starts to do the waning moon. What do you think? So on 177, it says identify an area for an improvement. So you want to talk about your morning, your afternoon, your evening. On 178, it says have your traced hand read. What does that mean? Does anyone know what that means? Are we talking about getting a palm reading? Make a simple hand tracing like kids do. Trace your hands next to each other on a separate piece of paper. After you trace, hold your hand there for a few moments to imprint some of your energy into the paper. There's really no one way to trace when energy is concerned. Send the original copy to the reader or healer and see what they have to say. That's interesting.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, I guess I have somebody, but do you guys have somebody that you can send that to?
I don't.
I don't either.
That might be difficult to get a reading if you don't have a palm reader, because palm readers are hard to come by. And then on page 179 says appreciate a good cry. Oh, Shannon, you've been doing that all week.
Yeah.
I guess you would focus here on how did you feel. It says, how do you feel before you cried and how did you feel afterwards? So I guess you can just start writing a little bit about how you feel. I'm not going to get all personal with you guys. If you want to keep some of these things to yourself, it's totally okay. But they're there to help. And then on page 180, it says identify helpful coping skills. Make 3 winter wishes. And then on 181 is to track your mood for the full moon. And if we decide to do the other 2 pages, which is de-stress with a ritual bath and then meditate on your health, I think we could do those.
Especially if we
Just-
can't really do the palm reading.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
if you wanted to do the tracing of your hand anyways, and then kind of have it in the event someone's able to read it, that would be interesting. You can date it for the day that you did it. I can ask my friend if he's willing to read the different tracings if you guys are interested in that. I don't know if he'll be able to, but I can ask him. He's the only palm reader I know. So, yeah. I think out of all of it, I think that one's going to be the most difficult, to have your traced hand read. But you can trace your hand and have fun doing that. So I think that's what we're going to do. We're going to start in the month that we're in, and we're going to go backwards in this journal. Okay? Because I wish I would have noticed that before, and I wouldn't have had us do the other ones. But, they may be different by the time we get there. You never know. So I was telling Shannon that I did not get a chance to do the moon circle because I've been pretty busy. Shannon's been really busy. I know with the holidays coming up, I don't expect everybody to just drop everything they're doing to do a moon circle.
I actually forgot all about it. I was like, wait,
okay.
I was reading one of your, well, we lost out 3.5 hours of power today, so I couldn't get on Facebook. But when I got on, I noticed something about you saying about doing a circle, and I went, oh crap, I forgot to do.
That's okay. It's totally fine. We're all in this mode of Christmas and Yule and holiday spirits that we have our little fur babies and kids to deal with, and so I can totally understand that, and I'm not gonna get upset at anybody for not doing it because I'm guilty. I didn't do it either. But I do want to talk about it tonight because it is something I'm probably going to do over the weekend because I have some questions to ask, and I'm wondering if I can get some meditative answers using this process. So we covered chapter 6 last week, or this week. And this is talking about healing by the phases of the moon, or using the moon phases to plan medical procedures. Now, as I was reading this, I feel like this is kind of a little impossible to do. Because I don't get to dictate with my doctor when I have procedures done. Do you guys?
No.
Sort of.
Sort of?
My pain management doctor does procedures on Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I get to pick which one I want to do it on.
That's cool. Yeah, I know. I mean, I can move appointments around, but they don't like to, if they have a certain time where if I needed a surgery or something, they're just like, okay, well, this is when we're doing it. And I'm like, okay, because I don't get the option to determine whether or not I'm going to have surgery on something. So I feel like, she talks about how the full moon is not considered a good time to have surgeries or medical procedures or Because she says that some people claim that the gravitational pull affects your blood, um, and the plasma or the liquid portion of your body, which is 92% water, anyways. And then she also mentions the 3 days before and the 3 to 5 days after and before the full moon. I'm like, okay, well, that's a lot of days. You know, think about not having a procedure. And what if you have like an emergency? Well, we can't have this emergency. It's fucking full moon. You know, like shit happens on the full moon, anyways.
Well, she talked about that in her book.
Yeah.
You know,
She does.
if
in the-
emergencies happen, emergencies happen. If you can schedule it, then great. If you can't, shit happens. You know?
Right. So she says the waning moon is good for, like, this would be great if you were having like cosmetic surgeries or elective surgeries. Being able to schedule them electively would be great, but if you have to do anything in regards to your health, I don't feel like this is feasible at all. So the waning moon is good for getting rid of things, obviously, and then the waxing moon, she says it's a good time to get stronger. It's an agreeable time to add to your body. So if you're removing and replacing, like a joint replacement or heart valve. Now, see, I don't think a heart valve is something that you can schedule.
They do schedule those. They are
Really? They
scheduled
don't-
surgeries.
They don't come. Oh, okay. So if you're not emergent, then you can have it. Okay. That seems like an emergent thing for me, though, because it's a heart valve. It's your heart. That would be scary.
Huh. I just checked on the date that I had my knee replacement surgery,
Mhm.
and it was actually a waxing gibbous moon.
That's cool. That's very neat. On page 69, she brings up the retrograde. Everybody hates the retrograde because everything goes backwards. So she mentions that this is probably not a good idea to do procedures and stuff, and it happens three times a year, right? About 3 weeks at a time, she says.
Yes.
She does mention in the last paragraph, this is when it comes to emotional healing, Mercury retrograde can be good. It is thought that many astrologers that this is a beneficial time to revisit old issues or connect to someone from the past who you had issues with so you can make peace and move on. So you obviously don't want to make relationship choices or, you know, schedule health procedures or anything that could go wrong, will likely go wrong during the retrograde. But if you really want to work on healing, then using the retrograde to your advantage is probably a really good idea. Have you guys tried that before? Like, dealt with anything specifically on the retrograde when it comes up?
No.
I haven't.
No? We all run in the opposite direction, like like the plague. I've noticed during retrogrades that, you know, old stuff always comes back and or gets brought up that I don't necessarily want to deal with. And I wonder if that's purposeful or if that's like just a coincidence. But I don't really believe in coincidences, so it's probably purposeful. I probably didn't deal with something that I needed to deal with. And then she talks about the star signs. She gets right into astrology, and I was like, wait a minute. And then she starts labeling different astrology star signs to different parts of the body, and I didn't think about that at all. Like, I didn't think about that at all. I was like, wait a minute, huh? I actually went online and started looking this stuff up. I stuck some stuff up on the group. I don't know if you guys saw it. I went on Google Scholar because I don't have any other data banks that I can look through. Because I wanted to find something that was factual based versus just the bullshit on the internet, you know? So I did, and I found some stuff that was neat. So she says that the star signs Aries corresponds to the head and the eyes and the nose, or the facial portion of your body. And the Taurus sign corresponds to the throat, the mouth, the thyroid, the tonsils, the back of the head, the ears, teeth, and jaw, and the larynx and the cerebellum, and the part of the brain at the back of the skull. So everything in here, down in this area, and around the back, which is interesting. So I wonder if it also rules the throat chakra. And I wonder if the Aries sign rules the third eye. I don't know about the top of the head. Gemini rules the arms, the shoulders, the hands, the lungs, the thymus, the upper ribs, and the nervous system. And then Cancer rule influences the stomach, the diaphragm, the thorax, the abdomen, the breast, upper liver lobes, mammary glands, lower lung lobes, and the aorta, which is the main artery where your blood is pumped through. Interestingly enough, I wonder if Cancer rules the heart chakra. I haven't looked these things up, but I do want to look them up because I'm curious. Leo would correspond to the heart chakra because it corresponds to the heart, the back, the spine, the arteries, and the circulation. So that would be your heart chakra. Virgo holds sway over the digestive system, the gallbladder, the intestines, the spleen, the lower liver lobes, the pancreas, and the nervous system, which would directly relate to your solar plexus. And then the Libra would influence the skin, the buttocks, the loins, the ingule, your groin area, your kidneys, your vascular nervous system, which would also rule your sacral chakra. And that could be combined with the Scorpio because Scorpio said to rule the reproductive system, the sexual organs, the bowels, bladder, urethra, prostate, rectum, descending colon, and how do you say that word?
Excretory.
The ability to use the restroom system. Okay. That's how I'm gonna say that. And then Sagittarius oversees the upper half of the lower extremities, your hips and thighs. Your liver's in here a couple of times, and it usually liver's in Virgo, and it's in
lower liver lobes in Virgo.
Yeah, well, it's in there too. The upper livers and the Cancer.
And Cancer's the upper liver. Mm-hmm.
Right, but Sagittarius says to oversee the upper half of the lower extremities, or the hips and the thighs, the liver, arteries, vein, and sciatic nerve. I can see how it would rule the arteries, veins, and sciatic nerve because that's in your thighs, but your liver is not in your thigh. It is much higher, so I'm not sure how Sagittarius and liver link, but this seems like it would be the system for Sagittarius and Capricorn may very well be linked to the root chakra. So Capricorn rules the knees, the skins, the joints, the skeletal systems. Some include the teeth in the sign of Capricorn, but then that's also covered in Taurus, right? Yeah. And then Pisces corresponds to the feet, the toes, the circulatory system, and the immune system. Why the immune system? Your immune system comes from your skeletal system. So why the immune system in Pisces? That's a question that I am curious about. Okay.
Well, who figured this stuff out?
I'm not sure, but I was looking it up online. I'm gonna run over here real quick to the thing that I put up here. It says table showing. I put it up on the group on. It says a table showing what parts of the human body, the zodiac signs, the planets rule, page 2. And it's from Yale University Library. And then if I pull that up, sorry, my camera's still on, it should be good. The issue is that you have to be able to read the document in some way, shape, or form. But it gives you the source and the rights of the image. And then if you look at the image, it shows you the different zodiac signs up on the very top. And then it tells you what each one is related to it. But there's got to be more information on it. I can't locate it. And I think
Yeah, because I don't understand what any of those signs mean.
Right. So the little signs on the top here, those are the different symbols for the different zodiac.
Okay. And the ones on the
So
left?
they're also, it looks like they're also corresponding zodiac. I wonder if they're like mixed. You know what I mean? How she says that, you know, there's the liver in Cancer and then in Virgo and then again in Sagittarius.
At least they're
So like,
connected, right?
if you look at this image, it looks like there's multiple signs that link to multiple different things.
Mhm.
But I can't read the fucking article, which irritates me.
I was having issues trying to get to more than just the picture myself.
Yeah, it shows you the image, but and there's got to be like something else that goes with it.
Are you talking about
But
something in the book, or are you talking about something online?
I put on the group. It's called The Table Showing What Parts of the Human Body, the Zodiac Signs, and the Planets Rule. Page 2 of the Yale University Library. And because this is Yale is like a college, they're not going to give you all of the data that we're looking for because we have to pay for that. So it looks like you can only see the table of the zodiac signs and planetary alignments or planetary or planets that rule by the zodiac signs. I wish I could find more information, but like I struggled trying to find some really good sources to figure out where she got her information. She does mention on page 71 that you can find out which sign the moon is on. You know, she gives you the lunarliving.org moon signs. She says that this gives you information on the different moon signs, but I'm not sure if she got her ideas from there. And then she talks a little bit about the in between when the passing through between when the moon isn't in a sign. She calls it passing through, or what's it called? There was a name she called it. Void the course. That's what she called it. That was on page 72. She says to avoid doing anything during the period of the time where the moon is not in a particular zodiac sign. So on page 72, she talks about the moon in the various signs and what you should avoid or have done during that time. So in Aries, when the moon is in Aries, to avoid tooth extractions or oral surgery, don't touch the eyes, the head, or the brain. The moon in Taurus, you want to avoid stuff on the cerebellum, which is the part of the brain that's responsible for motor movement, coordination. That's going to be down here in this area. Stay clear of the neck, the throat, and the surgery, which includes the tonsils, vocal cords, and thyroid gland. In Gemini, you want to avoid surgeries of the lungs and amputations of the arms or hands at this time. That doesn't sound like you could possibly maybe do that. If you have to have an amputee, you're probably going to get it done right then and there. They don't tend to schedule those. Hey, you got to lose your arm. We're going to do it right now. Yeah. Moon and Cancer, avoid having surgery that opens the thorax or the rib cage. Stay away from surgeries for disease that involves digestive organs. In Leo, obviously avoid heart surgery, back surgery, spinal surgery. In Virgo, anything on the abdomen. In Libra, kidneys. In Scorpio, hemorrhoid surgery, hernia, appendix surgery. Generally avoid cutting the groin area. Urinary stuff. In Sagittarius, hip replacements, leg amputations, as well as surgery on the femoral. Again, with the amputations, if your body needs an amputation, you can't hold it on. You cannot hold on to it.
No,
It's
next week.
It's like, oh no, the moon is not in the right phase. Let me just hold on to this dying piece for,
Just
another
tie
week.
it up.
It's the amputations. This is all right. So in Capricorn, the knee and shin surgery, in addition to skin procedures. So I assume if you needed a graft, that would be a skin procedure. Or
Or having moles removed or something.
Mhm.
something.
Cancer removed.
Or even
Mhm.
probably just microdermabrasion treatments.
Right,
Yeah,
that too. That's very mundane now that I think about it. We're past the like major stuff into the really, really light stuff. Like, huh. In Aquarius, you want to avoid surgeries on varicose veins, the calves, and the eyes. In Pisces, you want to avoid surgery on the feet, toes, abdomen, and the lungs. Okay, so we have the liver. So we go from the feet to the lungs. And before it was the feet and the liver. I'm a little confused. I wanted to back check some of her stuff, and that's what I was trying to do through Google Scholar and stuff to kind of see like how legitimate, because I know that astrology is super huge. It's so big that they have courses and degrees on it in college. So I know that there is some validity behind astrology and the universe and how the moon works and stuff like that. But I would really like to read something that's scholarly that can back up some of the stuff she's saying, because I'm curious, but I'm struggling to find anything. However, on page 73, that just fucking blew my mind. Did you guys see my post for that? I need some water. Hold on. Did you guys see my post that I put in the group for that one on page 73 under birth? That shit blew my mind. I put up a website in the group. I know you guys are probably busy, haven't gotten to it yet. It's called the Moon Phases Calendar, and it's dated October 2001, because I decided I was going to research, because she says, and I quote right here, it is whispered in secret, why I don't know. It's the second paragraph. I guess because sex is involved, that if you conceive a child when the moon is traveling through a particular sign of the zodiac, you can predict if it will be a boy or a girl. The masculine signs of the zodiac are Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, and Sagittarius, and Aquarius. And the female signs are Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, and Pisces. If the child is conceived when the moon is in a masculine sign, you will have a boy. If it is conceived when the moon is in a feminine sign, it will be a girl. She said, don't ask me about twins. Maybe if the signs are ready to change, you'll have one of each. That's just a guess. Okay, so I was like, I'm going to check. So I went online and I found a calendar that went back, 20 years, because my son's almost 20. So I could check what phase the moon was in during my conception date. And I shit you not, on October 15th, which was my conception date for both of my boys, one was conceived in 2001 and the other one was conceived in 2003. And my oldest son was conceived under a Libra moon, and my younger son was conceived under a Gemini moon. They're both boys. And I was like, what? So I wonder if there is some fidelity behind that. Did you guys check yourselves? Anybody who has kids?
It's been so long ago, I've forgotten when.
You know what?
I know. I don't know when when Justin was conceived. I just know his birth
Yeah.
date.
We're talking 40 years ago here, girls.
Well, you can take his birthday and subtract 40 weeks from it.
Okay.
And it'll give you approximately the day, the day that he was conceived. And then you can use that calendar, because that calendar would go all the way back to whatever year you need it to, which I thought was really cool. So yeah, check it out, because I know
Wow.
conception date is difficult, but it's freaking crazy. I was like, no. And then I just wanted to check my other son too to see if it was legit. And then it nailed both of my kids. I was like, no freaking way. I want to know where she got that information from. God, I wish she had some resources in here. That would be great. Do we have any at the end of the book? Do we need to look?
There's some at the end of the book.
Okay. We've got a bibliography. I see the bibliography because I can speak today.
Thorin.
Yeah, but that's a really interesting thing, because I legit looked that up. I was like, no, that's horseshit. And then I did it, and I was like, well, maybe it's not horseshit. You know, that was a trick. That really kind of blew my mind right there. Did not exactly know how to respond to that at all.
Why do you say 40 weeks?
Because pregnancy is approximately 40 weeks unless your baby's born early or late.
Okay.
So from the time of conception to the time of birth, it should be 40 weeks. But do you remember on or about the due date?
Okay, how do
I
I
was
change
pretty-
the state on here?
I was pretty close.
Okay, so you're on the website checking it out.
Mhm.
Okay, so open up the web page. Okay, and when the web page comes up, if you look where it says moon phase calendar October 2001, right
Mhm.
to the other side, you see there's little arrows and numbers. You want to hit the back arrow until you get to the year that you're looking for. Do you see it?
Oh, no, mine doesn't have any arrows.
I clicked on moon, and then at the bottom it had the years, and then you could collect or click the month that you needed.
Okay.
What's the
So
website
all
again?
the way down, it goes, you have 1900 to 2035. So you can just click the year if you scroll down. Do you see that? And then you'll click the month, and then you'll scroll all the way down. That's the coolest shit ever, actually.
Oh, there it is.
Okay, awesome. I should have just shared my screen so you guys could see.
Yeah, you want to do that, and then I'll come back on.
Let me see if I can share my screen. Okay, so I'm going to click on this and share, and then I'm going to go over. Okay, go over to this new thing. Can you see my screen, guys?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Okay, so you got the moon phase calendar, and then over here is the different years, and then these are all your different months. But if you scroll all the way down to the bottom here, it gives you all of the dates. So you'll just select the year. Okay, and then here we'll go through each and every day. It'll tell you what quarter, what moon phase it is, what star sign it is, and then what organs are influenced by the moon. I wonder if this is where she got that.
My daughter's was a Pisces.
Oh shit. Dang. See, guys, like, I don't know. She might be onto something there.
My older
But
boys
am
are
I still-
fake. I don't know
You're
about
what?
Thorn. I said my older two are correct. I don't know when Thorin was conceived, so I don't know about that.
Yeah, I don't know when my daughter was. It's somewhere between the 14th and the 20th. And the 14th, the 16th, or sorry, the 14th, the 17th, and the 18th are all ruled by the female signs. And then the ones in the 15th and the 16th are ruled by male signs. So it's somewhere in there, but I just can't nail it. But I knew my sons like right on the point, and they were both born on the exact same day, 2 years apart from each other. So I know that their conception dates were identical. So.
Yep. Atticus and Finn have birthdays 1 day apart, 2 years apart. And the only
Mhm.
reason Finn doesn't have Atticus's birthday is because it was a leap year.
Oh, he was born on March 1st, huh?
Well, no,
March-
they were born in October, but because the 1 year is 1 day short, they have different birthdays. But if Finn weren't born in a leap year, they would have the same birthday.
Oh,
And my
how
son
very
was under Gemini.
Going back here. Yep, Gemini, huh? Huh. Man, maybe there is something to that. Like, really, that
Interesting.
is really interesting. Like, I swear, I was just like, no, I have to check this. I'm glad
Okay, so now
did.
I gotta go. I'm on the calendar and I went to my son's year. Is that correct?
Yeah, the
Yes.
year you conceived.
And then I go down to his birthday, or do I go back?
No, you go.
40?
You go-
Conception.
if you're on a calendar in his year, you go back 40 weeks from.
Okay, so
due date.
From the day he was born. So you
I
want
did-
let me.
I did for my due date because my daughter was 2 weeks late,
Yeah.
and
from
my
your due
son
date.
was 13 weeks early.
So when was your due date, Terry, for your son?
I don't remember. It was. Oh yeah, I haven't calculated that yet. 40 weeks minus.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's too much for my brain right now. Holy cow.
Come on, Terry. I'm older than you. If I can get it, you can get it.
Okay. All right. Maybe tomorrow.
I wonder if you could do this with your animals too.
Oh, really? That would be cool. I swear I can't figure this.
I don't
What
know
is
how you
four-
would do it. You have to like
I don't
have
know
your
how to do the
animals
math.
have to be born in your house in order to figure that out. But
Oh,
Yeah,
I
but
know,
so many
right?
litters, it's a mixture of male and female, so that wouldn't work for animals.
Oh, exactly.
And the conception states are all different because animals can get pregnant multiple times. Well, at least certain types of animals. That's why babies are all different sizes when they're born. And then they call the run they call the run to the litter. The smallest one was really just the youngest one because it was the last to be conceived, and it unfortunately got born with the rest. So it's not technically a run. It's just small. Okay, so page 74, she goes, generally don't have surgery of any kind 5 days before or 5 days after the full moon or on the full moon. If something has to be removed, do it under a waning moon. If something has to be removed and replaced, do it under a waxing moon. If something has to be added, also look at the waxing moon phases. Don't have surgeries or medical procedures when the moon is void of the course or when the moon or when Mercury is in retrograde. Does anybody know what 3 times a year that is? Because I hear about it all the time, but I can never like prepare for it until it's already here.
I think it varies.
And then it confuses me because like I'll be scrolling through something or I'll catch wind of something and I'll be like, oh, okay, well, retrograde's coming. But I would like to prepare for it like in advance. I don't know if I can. Where's the references for that, lady? Oh, I heard something today, guys. Blew my mind. I have to tell you about it. So I have a customer that came in. He wants me to hunt him down a gift. So he wants me to pick him out a Mjolnir necklace, and he gave me $100 budget. It's a weird request, but in the process of this encounter, he brings up the book. I shit you not. He brings up the book Druid Power.
Really?
He does. He brings this book up and he tells me that if you look at, I'm actually going to see if I can find the book. If you look at the book, it is it says that it's the first or the original copy, but the 6th printing. So I'm going to see if I have the book right here. See if I can find it.
Isn't that the one that we didn't read?
Ah, that's the one we didn't like.
Yeah.
That's right.
Or you might have read it. I didn't read it.
I didn't read all of it. Trust me, I didn't. It says right here. Where is it?
20th printing.
Right.
Mine says
Okay.
first edition, 20th printing.
Okay. Mine says first edition, 19th printing. Okay. So he told me that what they do with some of these books is they'll go ahead and they will take some other publications, alter them mildly, and then reprint them as a new publication under a new name. So if this is the first edition, but the 19th printing, how many times was this book changed? Because he mentions in this book that there was one thing in here that what is it said? There was a part in this book where it talks about waves and water of some aspect, and then he had done some research on it and found that the book that comes from is not this book. So we need to be on our toes about some of the stuff we're reading because we're not always going to get original works of publications because there are so many different things that can be changed, altered, and reprinted. So when you see 19th printing or 20th printing and first edition, that doesn't necessarily mean that this is an original work from the author. This means that it's a reprint of works from other authors combined under this person. Yeah. Yeah, it says no part of this book may be used. Okay, wait, where is it saying here? Llewellyn Worldwide does not participate in, or endorse, or have authority or responsibility for private business transactions between our author and the public. All mail addressed to the author is forwarded to the publisher, unless specified. It says any internet references contained in this work are current at publication time, but the publisher cannot guarantee that a specific location will continue to be maintained. Please refer to the publisher's website for links to authors' websites and other sources. So keep in mind that when we're reading books, if we see them that are printed, multiple printings under first edition, they may not all be this original writer's work, because it's really easy to download in today's age, to download other people's works, change them so the copyright laws aren't violated, and then adopt them as their own personal thing. Which would explain why this book is so fucking confusing and inaccurate and not cool on so many levels.
Well, how do you get the author's book and not somebody's copyright?
By digitally downloading.
Oh, really?
Yeah, just various parts of other people's works, and then they combine it by altering it slightly and then adding it to their own pieces of work. So there's been a couple of people, or quite a few reprints that are done in that manner. So we'll keep an eye out for that when we're reading books. Okay. Now, if you look inside of the book that we're currently on, the Moon Magic book, there's no reprints here.
It means we got the right book.
Mm-hmm. So, and it's also not a Llewellyn book.
And it also cites where they got their other material.
Exactly. So let's keep an eye out for that when we're reading our books. So from here on out, because like that was a really great conversation I had with that guy, and I felt like my mind was just like, you know, mind blown. So the Druid Power book was a bad book because it wasn't her work. So note to self. He also told me, I showed him the original prints I have of the herbology books. He told me I should probably get them reprinted because they're not in print. So I could get them reprinted and found and probably sell them as his work, obviously not mine, but you know what I mean? Have them published and reprinted because I have original copies, which you can't find anywhere. So I'm thinking I might do that. So we'll see. But
Yeah, because I'd like a copy of those.
They're awesome. They are amazing. So I'm definitely considering that because they are full works of full sets. So let's jump on over to the Moon spell book that is also not reprinted. Since I went and checked.
What page do you see that at?
Huh?
Second. What page do you see that at?
Are
Right
you
in the beginning?
are you looking in the Druid Power book?
It's the back of the title
No,
page.
magic.
Back of the title page.
Literally the.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, right under the dedication, right in this area.
This is
It will
copyright.
tell you, say, yeah, but there's no first edition and there's no reprints. So this is an original piece of work, which is what we're after. We want original pieces of work. We don't want bullshit stolen from other
I don't
people.
know where my Druid book is.
Right? Now, I'm going to look at the Crooked Path book real quick because I'm curious. So, there was a lot of good information in that one. I'm so sad if it was a reprint. First edition, third printing. Damn.
Yeah, mine's
I
a
wonder
fifth.
what- I don't know. I'm gonna look into that one too to see if there's anything in here that was taken from any other books, because this was a good book, and I'll be sad if there was stolen shit. So, what does yours say, Cassie?
For
What's Yeah, mine says third too. So
Mine's
his
fifth,
might,
fifth
oh,
printing.
you're- mine's the
Mhm.
third printing. Hmm.
Tell
I'm
me
gonna
where
get
you're
some.
seeing that.
Okay, so we're looking at a different book.
Oh, no
And
wonder. Okay.
yeah, so when you go over to looking at the books, you want to find the page that has all the information on it.
Yeah, got it.
It's usually the
Got
And
page right behind the title page.
right, and then if it has a printing, it'll say it right there at the top. It says third printing or fifth printing or
Okay.
20th. Yeah, and then the Moon Spells book doesn't, and the Moon Magic book doesn't have a reprint. So we have original
That's,
works
I couldn't
here.
find anything.
Right, we have original works with this one. So I am going to keep, and I wonder if that's with all the Llewellyn books.
Probably.
Because I remember hearing something about Llewellyn being kind of a not so great place to get your.
Mhm. Your information.
Right.
It makes me wonder though, because I've got other books by authors that I follow who reprint their books because their first printing goes out, but it's still original work and it hasn't been changed. They just need a new printing of it. So it makes me wonder, how do you know when it's just somebody who has reprinted their own work several times and when it's somebody like Druid Power, who's obviously maybe not even around anymore and her book is just being changed and reprinted?
Right.
I don't know. It makes me kind of
I
wonder.
want to do some research on that and see if I can find something to stick in the book club to help us understand that. because because that was brought to my attention today and I was like, wait, hold on a second. Huh? And I know that when you whenever we read, and I especially tell you guys, like when we're reading books and stuff, it's imperative that we critically think as we read through the books and critically question things because not everything is how it is, you know. And I mean, we would love to buy shoes, but if we buy shoes with holes in them, then you know they're kind of useless. So unless the holes are meant to be there. So yeah. So I'm gonna look into that a little bit more and see if I can find some research that I can stick on the group so you guys can like be aware of that. But I'm been told that Llewellyn Publishing Company is kind of sketch.
They are a little iffy. They'll pretty much publicate anything.
Publish anything.
Mm-hmm. I mean, like this one is also a first edition 12th printing. But I don't know. But they're also Llewellyn.
Right. True. Yeah, I'm gonna look into that some more. It was just brought to my attention today. I was like, wait, that Druid Power does make no sense though. So chapter 9, we were in chapter 9 on the Moon Spells book. Shannon, can you do me a favor and see who published the Rebel Witch and the Root Work Conjurer for me? Because I'm curious now. Because I wonder if those are outside of Llewellyn. Because if they're outside
Rebel
of
Witch
Llewellyn,
and what? Root what?
The Conjure old style, the one we're gonna do after the Rebel Witch.
I have them saved.
I think I've got the Conjurer here, and I can check Rebel Witch.
I just
I'll
want to
post it.
publish them.
I'll post it to the group or I'll call you later.
Okay. Yeah, I just want to know who published them so that I can determine. Because if we can find books that are outside of Llewellyn, we might get some really good.
Let me see what I can find out real quick.
Rebel Witch is Watkins Publishing.
Okay.
Go down. And the Conjurer book is Wiser Books.
Okay.
Yeah.
so they're-
WEISER. So they are not.
The Old Ways Pagan Ireland is published through Fall River Press. So that's out of there, and that doesn't. I don't think it has a reprint. Yeah, this one doesn't have a reprint at all. And then the Manual of the Occultism, which I don't have on the thing yet, is Newcastle Publishing. And it says here that this is the reprint of a 1920s edition, but it was published by D. McKay. So this particular book, the Manual of Occultism, was actually originally a solo published book that was adopted by Newcastle Books and then reprinted from the 1920s edition. And then this comes from here, it's stamped in here, the Library of Congress. This is the Library of Congress cataloging and publication data, which is something that you would not normally see in the newer books, because this is a really old book. So the Manual of Occultism was written in 1979, but the original version was in 1920. Actually, it goes back further than that. The old Walter Gorn was originally written in 1864. The Manual of Occultism, reprinted of the 1920s edition from that original version. So yeah, this is a really old book, guys. This one. So yeah. Back to our reading. Sorry, I got stuck on that tangent.
No, it'd be something good to look into, especially as we continue forward.
Mm-hmm.
Just kind of.
Try and stay as original as we can get it. Okay, so creating and walking a moon circle, page 47 in chapter 9 on the moon spells book. Now I know we all didn't get a chance to do it, and that's fine, but I want to kind of go over how it was made, or how she develops it, and how to walk it, and some of the different things you can use to make it or create it. So the object of creating and walking a moon circle is to build up energy, to allow you to be able to communicate with the divine. She says here on page 48, the moon circle provides a place sincere people can resolve problems and come to better understandings of situations, as well as foresee future events. With a moon circle, you can draw from the universal life force energy to receive messages and prevent disharmony from coming into your life. It's like a magic mirror that looks into the future. She mentions that Native American traditions show use of the medicine wheel and its similarities to the moon circle. So she says that you can make this circle out of pretty much anything: stones, crystals, pine cones, sand, bricks, whatever you want to do to make the circle. You make it as large as you need it or as small as you need it. She mentions that if you're going to be working with more than one person, that you want to make it large enough to accommodate all the people involved. So in page 48, she talks about how to make it. Second paragraph says how to make the moon circle. So she said you can style the temporary circle or assemble a permanent one if you want to, if you have the ability to or the space to. She says you can find a space that feels good for you. It's got a good vibe for you. Also, if you wanted to like get into a little bit of earth alchemy, you could use dowsing rods to determine where your water lines, fault lines, fire lines, and all that stuff is in the ground so that you can avoid certain areas or work with certain areas or build up certain types of energy if you wanted to get really, really precise about it. She says, choose a spot where you will create your circle. It can be an area that feels good. You'll mark off 4 compass points, north, south, east, and west, with some type of stone or indicator. Next, make a second small circle in the center that will surround your crystal, stone, etc., or whatever you put in the center. Or you'll want to use the center portion as a PowerPoint for your circle. So you could put whatever you'd like to put in the center to create or vibrate the energies that you're putting into the circle. You can opt to create a third and larger circle that encompasses 2 inner circles. This provides a walkway around the inner circle, keeping the energy contained, as indicated in the illustration on page 47. So we know on page 47, this is what she has hers looking like. She's got that big circle, and then she has another little circle, and then she has like little stones that she almost makes like a crystal grid around the center of her circle. And she has 2 entryway, or she has an entryway and an exitway, but they look like entryways. She says that you'll want to create the first entryway to the east, because that's the way the sun rises. And then you'll want to exit from to the west where the sun sets. She says, remember to leave a gateway or opening from east through which you enter and the west through which you exit. She says, in forming the minimum temporary style moon circle, you'll need 5 stones, crystals, shells, bricks, or whatever's available to mark the spot. First, place a stone at each compass point and 1 in the center. Although it may look like a cross, you must visualize an esoteric circle connecting the outer stones. Keep in mind the size of your circle. If you'll be working with magic alone, a small circle will do. If you intend to work with someone else or others, you might have to make one bigger. Then she also says, make sure you consider where you sit. Not all of us are able to bend or move freely, so be practical by placing chairs, stools, pillows, whatever you want around the circle. So she moves on to page 49 about how to walk the circle. So she has you enter in through the east, and then you walk around the circle in clockwise direction. And you want to walk in the circle, she says, 3 times, or as often or as many times as you feel like there needs to be energy. So if you don't feel that the energy is shifted in the circle, you can continue to walk the space until you feel like it's adequately fulfilled. And then you'll pick a point inside of the circle to sit. You don't necessarily have to go, okay, well, I'm going to sit at the north end of the circle. You'll just find a spot that calls to you and you'll sit there. But before you enter, I think you should do this before you get in, but she says you should cleanse yourself once you're in the circle. And she recommends using sage. Of course, we all know that not everybody uses sage, and sage is not exactly something that needs to be used every single time you cleanse. You can use Palo Santo or other herbs, or a mixer or blend of your own herbs to cleanse yourself. And I would do that before entering the circle, because I wouldn't want to bring that into a place where I'm going to create energy. You know what I mean? So I would do that beforehand. She says that you would do it after you enter.
Maybe after, so that you're leaving the bad energy in the middle.
Why would you want the bad energy in the
I don't
power
know.
center?
I don't know.
I feel like I would want to do it before. She says you should cleanse yourself and the circle. So if you're gonna, I would do that all while I'm making it. Like I don't know, I would cleanse the space, and then I would put the circle up, and then I would cleanse myself, and then I would go into the circle. So I would have like a process that was a little bit different than the way she describes.
Probably the way I'd do it too.
So like you can kind of make up your thing to how you would do this is in regards to cleansing. Everybody's going to be a little bit different, but she's just kind of laying the framework for you. She says, she even mentions, if you don't have sage and prefer not to smudge, you could do this. And then shake your hands out, which that was interesting. So you would use your hands as like a besom or a broom, and then you would shake your hands off to get the energy off of you. That would obviously need some visualization to do that. Okay, so she says, once you're ready, you start from the east and walk around clockwise at least 3 times. It will take a cycle of 3 to bring up the energy of the circle, as 3 is the number of multiplication. If after 3, well, I think that's very Wiccan. We're back to the Wiccan references there. If you do not feel that the energy in the circle is shifting, continue to walk until you feel it's time to stop. So if you're doing this with multiple people, obviously the other people would follow you in the circle. And then when you're led to stop, you'll sit wherever you feel that you need to sit. And then if the other people in the circle haven't, they're not going to obviously just sit down where you're sitting. They're going to keep walking until they feel led to sit somewhere. Now, she says here that they don't necessarily have to sit with you, across from you, or wherever. They're just going to sit wherever they're called to sit. And even if that's next to you, she says that's fine. She says sharing a space with someone will not take away energy from you or deplete the messages that you received. Obviously, because energy is universal and everybody has the ability to tap into it. She says you want to make sure that when you sit, you face inward towards the center of the circle, which is where your power point is. And then so what she says here is if you're, say you're facing, if you end up in the east, you're sitting in the east, right? Say you're facing east, the messages that you're getting are going to be coming from the opposite direction you're sitting in. So if you're sitting in the east, the west is going to give you messages. If you're sitting in the north, the south is going to give you messages. If you're sitting in the south, the north is going to give you, you know, and so on and so on. So that's how you're going to receive your messages. And she says, once you're seated in your direction or message point, calm your mind and relax. Allow the messages to come to you. Ask silent questions if you like, and see what answers you intuit. Once you feel like you've received your messages or answers from the collective consciousness, take your time and slowly rise. Give thanks to the energy circle by saying something to yourself out loud, such as, I give thanks to the, make it up, she says. You may just say, thank you, with a bow of your head. Acknowledge the power from above that is visited to help guide you. Leave the circle from the west where the sun goes down, and this gives closure to the ceremony. And then she spends the next couple of pages telling you a little bit about the directions and the meanings of the 4 directions, which we'll go over in just a second. But before we go over to the directions, this kind of leads into the next chapter that we're going to be working on for next week. So let me get that through, and then we'll talk about the 4 directions. So next week, I put up on the group already the next meeting for the events, which is going to be chapter 7, learning to meditate. Okay, so this chapter is going to talk to you about meditation. And since we didn't get to utilize the actual circle this week, maybe trying to practice or understand meditation will help us utilize the moon circle in the next week or 2. You know what I mean? So we're going to go over chapter 7 for next week, and that's in the Moon Magic book, and I will post it. And then in addition to that, we're going to get into the tools, the creating a magical atmosphere, the enhancements, and magical tools, which is going to be pages 55 to 73 in the Moon Spells book. Okay, this will kind of give us, I assume it's going to be a little bit Wicca based, for tools and how their correspondences are and whatnot. But I want to get that out of the way because we're going to start moving into her spells in this book. And I want to start to apply some of the spells that she has in here. So we've got our foundation set with meditations and understanding making time, and then utilizing them before we start getting into working some of her magic. So I will write that down and put that out. I do have it on. If you go to the group event in the book club group, you can see that the next one's available for the event, and you can open it up, and it has the pages for next week already out. Because I'm doing my best to try and keep up with that, even though I have such a hectic life. I'm still doing my best. So on page 51, we start learning about the different meanings behind the directions. So she mentions that north springs forth wisdom and completion. It has a time of delivery and freedom from things that may have been a challenge in our life. It's a call for balance in all things. Its messages is to find answers here and now using practical solutions of common sense. So she says, it is the direction that instructs us. That is not the time to give up when we are close to completion. This direction can have difficulties attached to it, but the trip will be well worth the results. So she says, the things are concluded that you may feel the most equalized. North represents power, organizing, insight, and justice. Whenever in doubt, turn north, because again, north is what? The most powerful point from Wicca and other traditions. South represents emotions, preparing for the future, affairs of the heart, passions and fullness and control, self-control, and expressions. So it is she says, it is in the South that we learn to release feelings of hurt and anger. Creativity stems from the South as well, and we can make connections to artistic pursuits and issues dealing with the imagination and inventiveness. So if you are struggling with something that you want to become inspired to do or fix, the South is probably where you need to be at. So when you guys walk the circle, mind you, don't just be like, okay, well, I want to work on this issue. Let the universe guide you. So when you feel called to sit down in a direction, just sit in the direction. Don't be like, it has to be in the north, or it has to be in the west, or it has to be in the east. Just let yourself guide yourself down into a direction, because then the universe is giving you the messages that you need at that point in time, and you're not creating a control over that. So try to resist, putting yourself in a direction on purpose. So in the East, it's about renewal, birth, and rebirth. So transformation. So if you're working on transforming old habits, or changing from one thing to another, or breaking something, this is probably a good spot for you. It says we learn lessons from messages from the East. We learn to believe in what we cannot see, feel, or touch. We learn to be more open-minded to the things we do not understand. This is a place where new ventures or a different path through life may be awakened. It is also the direction we must recognize that in order to proceed into the future, we must accept and deal with the present. So once we have accomplished this, we can move into different directions. This is the completion of all things, including love, career, health, spirituality, and balance. And then the West, It's where the sun sets. It brings in the night, mysteries and dreams. It's the gateway to the unknown, and the direction west signifies completion of a situation or goal. It can suggest that it is time to complete something you have been procrastinating about. We'd all love to procrastinate. Power and strength generate in the west. This compass point prescribes determination and development. The West tells us to go within ourselves for guidance where the energy is calmer and your level of tension sets in like the sun. We find acceptance of who we are. If we don't like what we find, we must change it. Transformation with the East. If you are not looking for specific message or answer within the moon circle, but feel you need to connect to a specific direction, you can intentionally sit in that direction if you want to work on it. But if you're, like I said, for this first time, kind of let your body guide yourself into it. Let the universe guide you to where your messages are needed most. And then if you feel like you need to intentionally connect to a different location, by all means do that. She mentions here, be careful of meditating too much in the north compass point because like winter, you may lose your warmth. Use all directions in moderation. Isn't that with anything though? Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. Oh my gosh. My lips are so chapped. They won't unchap. I keep drinking water, but my body is not utilizing it correctly. I haven't figured out why yet. I think my kidneys have issues. It is what it is. All right, so for next week, we're going to read the meditations, and then we're going to kind of go through the tools and creating the atmosphere and prepping ourselves for getting into the next section of the book, because the next section of the book is going to be after meditations. We're looking at setting intentions, the powers of intention setting, and then we're going to actually set intentions, and then we're going to begin to practice some magic. And I'll probably bring up some references to my guide section in the group, in the GWC group for the intention settings, because I definitely have some great ask yourself questions in that guide section for creating spells. If you haven't checked it out, just go on over there. It's the guides for writing your own spells. I even have videos on it so that you can kind of see how it all works out. Is there anything we wanted to talk about besides what I covered today? Like, is there anything?
Where did you? Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead, Terry.
Oh, I was just going to say, where did you say those were? In the Green Witch's Corner?
If you go into the Green Witch's Corner and you hit guides up on the top, like underneath the members and stuff, you hit guides, it'll bring up all the different guides. I have one for chakras, I have one for spell writing, I have a whole bunch of different videos in there for traditions and history and folklore and practices that I'm gradually, bless you, I'm gradually adding more to. So it's in there. And then the spell writing links directly to my YouTube videos so that you can watch them if you're interested. They're not short, so sorry.
That just makes it a whole lot easier to find them. I was thinking about that today. Got to go back to our classes and refresh again. And I was like, oh yeah, I think they're in the wait. So I'm glad you're here to ask that.
Yeah, they're in the guide section in the group. And I am going to be adding more stuff. I'm definitely putting up more content on my YouTube. I just put up that video for the intermediary method for extracting oils. And then I think the next one I'm going to work on is adaptogens, because I think there's a lot of confusion about what they are. So I kind of want to talk a little bit about adaptogens and different herbs that fall in that category and stuff like that. And I'll be adding more content as I can come up with it. It's just a process. And if I can get this damn fucking video program to work and not take 48 hours to make a video, I'll be so much better. Because it did. It took me forever. I was so mad at it. But
Well, they say electronics is bad for the electrograde too, that it, messes everything up. And I've had my
Yeah.
fair share of things working 1 minute and the next minute it doesn't.
just poof and
And
gone,
then,
right?
and then it works again. Yeah, it's weird.
I think it was just the program I was using because I don't think I was in a retrograde when I made it. I don't know. When was the last
Oh.
retrograde? Does anybody know? Because I don't remember.
Didn't we just go through one?
Was it like a week ago or longer?
Yeah,
than a
I
week?
think a week or so ago. I've lost track of time again.
It's okay. I thought it was in October. Wasn't it in October? Or was it November?
September 27th to October 17th.
Okay, yeah. So
And
no,
that's
I
the
made
last
video-
one for this year.
Okay. Yeah, I made the video after that. I think it was just a damn program being a fucking pain in my ass. It's just whatever. I kept like kept freezing up on me, and oh man, I was just like. So with luck, that won't happen again, and then I will be able to get it all up faster. So, but that's it for today. So I guess I'll see you guys all next week. If you guys have any questions, let me know. I am going to try and get those things up quicker. It really just depends. I have a lot of restock to do over the next couple of days. So I will do my best to get it up soon. And I'm creating a schedule for myself so that I can schedule each day with tasks. So trying to get more organized.
Well, when you get ready for when you're done with organizing you, can you help organize me?
Oh, I will try. I will show you what I do, and then you can try and
Okay.
copy it.
All right, cool.
All right, ladies. You guys have a great week, and I will see you all next Wednesday.
Bye, ladies.